Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
So, we're a little over, but I think we're just going to push back and make sure everybody gets the time allotted if they need it. A couple of months ago, there was the Folk Life Festival here in Seattle, and I went largely because Ime, who's been a volunteer for Gnome Decks and certainly pivotal in making things happen here, was dancing there. She's actually dancing on Sunday night, and everybody's invited to, I think it's Kalia. It's an Indian restaurant here in Seattle. So we are walking around, and usually it's stuff that kind of interests me, but then I see this booth with computers. Now, granted, they're old computers, right? Like last year's models. But still, right? And I see all these photos of these classrooms, like, that didn't seem to be quite local, shall we say. You can flip it up here. And so I walked up and read a little bit about what InterConnection was doing, and I was like, hey, do you guys want to come to my conference? And they weren't exactly sure what to make of that, but it didn't take long before we were connected with Charles Brennick here, founder of InterConnection, and with any luck, this is going to continue to change the world, and you can be a part of that. So, Charles? Thank you.
This one?
Space bar, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, Chris. Well, I'm Charles Brennick, founder and director of InterConnection. We're a local nonprofit based out of Seattle. And basically what we do is make technology accessible to underserved communities around the world. And so I'm going to start out with just a basic question. How many people have an old computer, desktop, or whatever in their closet or at home taking up space? You got your new iPad or whatever. What are you doing with your old... So, you know, it's a pretty common situation, I guess. So I'm going to explain how you could take that old equipment and make it into an opportunity for somebody internationally around the world. So just some general statistics starting out. In the developing world, there's a very limited amount of access to technology in the home. Basic statistic, at home in South America, about 8% of the people have access to computers in their house. And in Africa, amazingly, 1%. Now the question is, why does that matter? Why do they need computers and so forth, or laptops? Well, based on years of doing this since 1999, I can give you some pretty good examples as to how computers and technology will help people in developing countries. And so just starting out, first, communication, email, being able to connect with people in different countries. This is an example of a shipment that we did to a program in El Salvador where youth are connecting with their sponsors in the U.S. via email. So this is sort of like the World Vision deal where you can sponsor a child abroad. Well, here youth are connecting with their sponsors in the U.S. via computers that they wouldn't have had otherwise without our program. One of the biggest uses of technology internationally is education. So obviously a lot of curriculum is digital these days. Back a couple years ago, we shipped about 4,000 computers to schools in Chile, and they're using them to, for education, just like we do here. Job skills, pretty much any job that people go for these days, you got to have some sort of computer skills, right? Just being able to send emails or use Word or whatever is very important. So giving somebody a computer, it obviously gives them a leg up on other people. And support. So this year we shipped some laptops to Burkina Faso. You guys know where that's at, right? Africa. To some Peace Corps volunteers who are using these laptops, distributing them to NGOs that are using them to write grants and gain support for their work. And also health. Technology is really getting involved in the international health field lately. This is a shipment that we did to Namibia, where they're using laptops as a way to get to educate people about the issues of AIDS and so forth. And finally, everybody uses it for news, right? Okay, joke. Just to try and wake you guys up a little bit. All right. So what can be done here? So in general, believe it or not, there's about 14 million computers being discarded every year. Old stuff, right? Technology, the speed of technology turnover is just incredible, and it seems to be advancing faster, right? I mean, almost switching out laptops every year now, and obviously the manufacturers want that, right? And so about 14 million computers are discarded every year, and we found that more or less half can be refurbished and then put back to its original purpose. And so there's a huge opportunity here to take old technology and give it a second life, and basically give it to somebody who doesn't have it, who needs access, generally doesn't have the money to buy a new one. So that's what we do. That's what InterConnection does. Is it takes in used computers, refurbishes them. We have a center in kind of North Seattle where we fix computers. We have a training program where we teach generally low-income, unemployed people how to upgrade, test, fix computers. They gain the skill, computer hardware repair skills, and they also gain a free computer when they're done with the program. So it's a win-win situation. They get a free computer and skills, and we get refurbished computers, tested refurbished computers that we're then able to provide to folks. Just sort of the general mechanics of the refurbishing process. The first thing we do is pull the hard drives, because everybody's concerned about the data on the hard drives. So as soon as the computer comes into the door, we pull the drives. And then we clean them, test the components, memory, processor, all that stuff. We have an inventory system where we keep track of everything that's going out. And then we do another reinstall of the operating system. So we're what's called a Microsoft Authorized Refurbisher, and it's a program that allows nonprofits to reinstall Windows. Because basically it gives us licenses to reinstall Windows and Office on the computers we distribute to schools. And as I mentioned, data destruction is a really important aspect of what we do. We use, not a very good photo, but we use a data wipe tool rather than software. We do use software to wipe some drives, but we primarily use this tool just because you don't have to boot the drive in a computer to wipe it. This is the tool on the left there. And then we can also do on-site destruction. So we have a machine that punches a drive in a hard drive. Don't like to do that because you can't reuse the drive, but it's something that like big companies that we deal with, like Real Networks, Alaska Airlines, and Nintendo want. And so what do we do with the old computers? So like I said, maybe 50% or so can be refurbished. The rest have got to be recycled, right? Because they're just way too old to deal with. And so we have a recycling program as well. And so just some general statistics of why you really need to be concerned about how to deal with old computers and so forth is, because they have a lot of bad chemicals and so forth in them. And so here's just a list of, some of the things that are in the computers, and it's supposed to be lead, not lean. Monitors don't make you thin. And these are the health effects and the chemicals related, the chemical and the health effects that could cause by some of these contaminants. And we are what's called an e-steward. So I don't know if you guys saw like the videos of like on 2020 and all that of the computers going to China and causing all the environmental problems. Well, the group that was primarily behind that was a group called Basel Action Network, and they audited our program and basically said, no, you guys are doing it the right way, and they gave us their stamp of stewardship, I guess. So we're the good guys, I guess. And so some of the benefits of reusing computers, well, if you reuse a computer rather than just recycling and get rid of it, you'll reduce 30 pounds of hazardous waste, 77 pounds of solid waste, and just some pretty significant statistics there on the benefits of reusing. And so recycling is basically when you shred the computer and break it down to its components, component levels. So like metal, copper, all that stuff. And reuse is when you refurbish it and use it for its original purpose. And so here's just some examples of where we've shipped computers to. We've done at least 20,000 over the last few years. We do a lot of work with Peace Corps. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Paraguay, still do a lot with them. Right now, actually, we're working on a shipment to Tanzania, 70 laptops, and we've done shipments all over the world, so Kenya, Cambodia, Honduras. But we do a lot of stuff locally, too. Like I said, we have this training program where we teach people in Seattle how to fix computers, and we work with some local nonprofits as well. But a lot of it's international. We have some distribution points around the world. So Chile, Uganda, El Salvador. Uganda one, not so much anymore. They've actually put a restriction on used computers, but the other sites are going pretty well. Restriction, they don't allow used computers anymore into Uganda. And there's a story behind that because actually one of the person in parliament who's in charge of ICT there has got a business of importing new Chinese computers into the country. So, so they put a ban on used computers to obviously create market opportunity. Unfortunately, they didn't set up anything to go along with recycling or anything like that. The ban wasn't for environmental reasons, it was for economic reasons. So how can bloggers help? So basically, we're sort of a different nonprofit. We don't rely on grants or cash donations and so forth. What we rely on is computers, essentially donations of computers. So it's really, we're trying every day to get people and companies primarily, to give us their surplus computers so that we could, like I said, give them a second life and get them out to people in need. So I'm hoping that, folks out here in the audience can get the word out about what we're doing and how people that you are connected with can give us a hand and get their computers reused. So, and once again, I want to stress the difference between recycling and reuse. So I mentioned this briefly, but recycling is when the machines are just shredded, right? Broken down into components, which is great, but it's not as good as reuse. So we have a program where we can do nationwide pickups. Right now, it's obviously primarily in the Seattle area, just because that's where a lot of our business contacts are at, but we do have the capacity to do nationwide pickups. So, and how many people are from outside of Washington? A good amount? Yeah, it's about half. Okay. And drop-off, obviously, it's only available for people in the Seattle area, but like I said, our facility is down there by Gasworks Park, which is on the shores of Lake Union, and so people could bring equipment to us. And we have this mail-in program, which is really cool because it allows anybody anywhere in the nation to mail us their old computer, primarily laptops. And we'll wipe the data. We have a program that does a certified data destruction, and we'll send you that certificate of data destruction when you send us your laptop, and we'll also send you a donation receipt. And this is just an example of how this program can work. We teamed up with, after the earthquake in Haiti, we teamed up with an international development organization called World Concern, and we did a campaign specifically to get laptops for their offices in Haiti, which I think they had 6 offices and 4 of them were destroyed by the earthquake, and so they needed laptops to kind of rebuild them, and so we did a campaign with them, and people were able to donate their old laptops specifically to this cause, and we were able to ship, I think, about 10, which is obviously not as much as we wanted to ship, but a lot of stuff came in that wasn't fixable, reusable. And sort of, kind of finally, we're getting into smartphones because that's obviously the future. A smartphone is essentially a small computer, and when you're dealing at an international level, it's a heck of a lot easier to ship a smartphone than it is a big desktop, right? Because when we're shipping the desktops, we're shipping ocean containers size full of computers, which is very costly and logistically challenging. So we're focused on getting more smartphones these days. There's a lot of really cool technology coming out that is being developed for smartphones In terms of international use, we've partnered with a nonprofit called Datadyne, which has developed applications for health as well as agriculture. The health application is for basically going out in the field and using your smartphone as a place for survey input, data input. So, so basically, the new campaign is working with Datadyne, or getting smartphones that will then end up providing to Datadyne. And it's the same thing where people could donate their smartphone by mail, by just going to interconnection.org. There's a form that anybody can fill out, and it'll generate an automatic label that you stick on any box. And you can even do it anonymously. You don't have to send in your information if you don't want a donation receipt. You just download the label and stick it in a box and send it to us. So that's, like I said, that's for anybody who's outside of Washington, that's the big thing you could promote. And so one of the kind of special offer I got for you all today is we're giving away an Xbox Kinetic, thanks to Microsoft. One of my board members is Sean Alexander is involved in this. And so anybody that, and this is the new one with I don't know what that thing's called, the kinetic motion. And so basically, if anybody has computers or is connected with businesses that has computers or posts, I guess, an announcement about our program on their site, just send an email to xbox@interconnection.org, and we'll put your name in a, I don't know, some sort of a digital hat. And we'll do a raffle. We'll raffle off the Xbox here next month or so. And there's also, we have a display in the place where all the vendors are at, and you can drop off your business card in a little box, and we'll take it that way as well. So there you go. Thanks.
If anyone has any questions.
Two quick questions. You said North Seattle. It's over by Gasworks, you said?
Yeah, that's
For
right.
the drop-off? I'm local, so.
Yeah.
And both platforms, Mac, PC, or just PC?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guys are training them on, I could bring my old Macs in there and or my clients.
Refurbishing, the refurbishing program is pretty much Microsoft related, because that's how we can only get licenses for the refurbished machines through the Microsoft program, but we do take Macs, and we have other programs for that. So the international shipments are all PC.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Would it be possible for you to pick up stuff here tomorrow, from here tomorrow?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Anybody bring their old laptop with them?
Here's the question, sorry.
Oh, I was just wondering if you guys would be able to do a pickup tomorrow for people who live locally who have stuff in their closets now that's
Yeah,
fresh.
I could do a pickup, you bet. Sure.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
How stupid does a smartphone have to be before it's a smartphone you want?
You know, good question, and because I'm so new to the refurbished smartphone field, I don't have a good answer. I don't know like what the minimum is yet. Will you accept those tomorrow too? You bet. Yeah. We have a software too for smartphones for wiping data. So obviously smartphones, you know, you got your contact information and all that stuff, and there are ways to do like a hard reset or whatever to wipe it off, but some people, like it's complicated, but we're using this software called Blanco, which does a certified wipe of the smartphone data and sets it back to its original settings. So, okay.
I was just wondering if you are reaching out to waste management companies in the area. I live in Thurston County. I know they take hardware there. They charge the locals for dropping that stuff off. I'm assuming they just dispose of it, but.
Yeah, we do work a bit with some of the waste management companies, not a whole lot. We have some outreach going on with Cleanscapes here in Seattle. Like a lot of the waste management companies, you know, they don't, like a lot of the drop sites, the waste management companies, they don't even take the stuff anymore. They refer you to other people. And I don't know, I think Eastside's doing curbside pickup, but, you know, we're not, I guess we don't have any major partnerships with any of them right now, but, you know, I'd love to. Okay. Yeah. So.
For the folks out of town, are we able to, you said you can arrange pickups. Can we do this in a large scale type of thing and invite a number of businesses to bring multiple machines?
Yeah, so I work with a company called OnePack that does the logistics for the pickup. So essentially, if you can get any amount of computers on pallets, we can arrange to get it picked up. And we can also do on-site, outside of the state, we can do on-site data destruction or data management through this partnership. So.
Hi, I was just wondering how far back can your computers go? Do they have a age limit?
Pentium 4s, actually. We go down to as low as 1.3 gigahertz Pentium 4s. Anything else gets recycled. And that bar, I mean, we'll probably drop those pretty soon and kind of bring it up to maybe 2.0 and move it forward, just because even those are just getting too old. So right now we take our benchmark is a Pentium 4, everything else gets recycled, but that keeps moving up.